Dan RadioStyle, hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Does the scene that you're trying to create, the scene that you're manifesting, does it actually imply what you're hoping it does? What I mean is, and this is a mistake that many of us make, is the thing that we're thinking of doesn't necessarily imply that I've got more going on. Just a simple example, and we'll get more into it, but maybe I'm trying to manifest a text message from somebody. But in my mind, I want a relationship with them. In my mind, the text message means they love me or means that we've got a relationship, but really, I'm manifesting a text message. So when you get a text message from them, it can be disappointing because it might not have been all the things you thought it was, or you might have gotten the text message and you have it meaning so many things that you've decided they want to marry you based off this text message, but that's not necessarily how it played out either. One of the other main concerns that we sometimes have too when manifesting and thinking of the scene is we see it from a distance, and we've got to remember to bring that into play. So let's take a couple steps backwards. One of the keys, Goddard's been saying a lot about this, and for sure, one of the most important things when it comes to manifesting, and I can't imagine anybody on this planet would disagree with me, is defining your desire. What is it that you desire? Now, one, just appreciating the fact that desires are something that help lead the way for us. Desires are something that indicate I'd like a change, I desire, I want to change, right? There's a reason why this desire is sparking its impression upon you. Now, maybe it ties to a manifestation that you've been working on, trying to manifest success in my life, right? So now all of a sudden I've got this weird desire to start a YouTube channel, or maybe I'm trying to manifest more love in my life. And so now I've got this weird desire to join a dating site when I'm so against that. Desires oftentimes can happen because of the way we're manifesting and the things we're manifesting. So defining what you desire is certainly very, very important because that's going to help open up the physicality. That's kind of where inspired choice will come into play. You're going to get desires. You're going to feel something that is strong, and you're going to want to follow it. You're going to have to. It's going to nag at you otherwise. Now, once you've defined the thing you desire, it's important to construct some sort of imagery, or even to borrow from yesterday's video, some sort of words that are kind of short, concise, and sweet that basically explains what it is you're trying to manifest. But generally, for a lot of us, what's your scene? Are you dancing at your wedding? Are you, again, seeing a text message from somebody? Are you shaking your hand, the boss's hand, and him saying congratulations? Or what are you imagining? What is your scene? Now, again, when you're shaking the boss's hand, is it your hand in his hand? Or are you like standing back behind yourself and seeing the back of your head and the front of your boss, but it's not really you? Or are you, standing across the room? Or again, is it really your hand in your boss's hand? It needs to be from that first perspective. It's very important. And a lot of us just kind of naturally gravitate to a weird third-person view of ourselves, but it needs to be in that first-person perspective. It needs to be their face right in front of your face. What does that look like? Are you imagining kissing them? Then that's got you kind of, you know what I mean? Like, whoa, you going left or right? Well, how are you going to do it, right? Where is that? How's that look? You're seeing their face coming up. You know that whole experience that goes with that. Or again, are you your boss? Or do you see yourself in a new house, pulling in your new car in your new neighborhood with a new view? Because that right there implies a lot of things. But again, does your manifestation, is it something that implies that your end result has occurred? Are you looking to get more money in your life? Then certainly more house, new car, all these things, boat, whatever, flying around a lot more, traveling a lot more. If these are the scenes you're painting, and if you're in that first person and you're actually seeing yourself in the chair in the airplane, right? And your hands on the rest, you got your drink in your hand or whatever, however you like to fly. Maybe you got your magazine, maybe you're looking at your phone, maybe you got your Kindle, whatever. But imagining it happening. Now again, from the standpoint of wealth, just imagining going on a trip doesn't necessarily imply that. Again, that kind of goes back to that, are we imagining a text message or are we imagining a larger house? Like, you can have multiple scenes. And it's kind of one of the reasons why I sometimes do think it's a good idea to paint a little bit more of a picture, to have a few more scenes in your movie than just one, because sometimes just one scene doesn't fully fulfill, at least in my case, what my aspirations are, what my dream is. One thing doesn't really speak to it. There's a lot of aspects of my life that are changing, and I'm seeing it, and I'm experiencing it. And so you can see that a lot of different angles are going to require some different imaginal scenes. Now, if you're just trying to get one thing, maybe a relationship, maybe there's a specific person that you're very fond of, want to get close to, maybe an ex that you want to get back with, then imagine the discussions of you and them talking about being together, talking about how we're an item now, talking about how we're back together again, talking about how we're moving in together, whatever your thing that implies you're back together, something more than we're talking. I mean, that's a good in-between. That's a great step. If you're trying to get back in your relationship, hold past the obstacles, right? The end result. It's got to be something that's real. You've got to be first perspective. It's got to be far enough into it to definitely prove, if you will, that you've accomplished what you're after. And then hold that. That's your vision. That is your dream. Hold that, and it will be true. So one of the key things that it comes down to is must be an action. And what that means is it's got to be kind of a motion. There needs to be movement. There needs to be handshake. There needs to be pat. There needs to be kiss. There needs to be action, experience to kind of help drive that feeling. If it's shaking your boss's hand, how excited you are, how stoked you are, how I've been working for this, and I finally got the adoration, and I finally got the position, and I finally got the title. Or I'm finally kissing so-and-so, and that doesn't necessarily mean you're in a relationship, but I mean, I'm finally having that. Or we're finally kissing on the altar, or we're finally going someplace that indicates that we are way more than just friends, right? Or is there some job? It's got to be an action. There's got to be motion, and this is what you want your scenes to be. You don't want it to be like a still shot photo. You want to give it some perspective. You want to make it real. You want to feel the emotions as well. And then it's got to be from your vantage point and as much vividness as you can add, which really to me means as many of the senses that you can bring into it, help create that reality to it, help create that smell of what that ballroom will smell like, or what the smell down close to the ocean and that nice salty air and the sort of crispness almost of the breeze. And how beautiful it is that time of year when you know you're going to be getting married down at the Ritz or whatever. And the implication, meaning the thing that you're manifesting, needs to imply that the wish is fulfilled. That's the whole thing. We're talking about living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The imagery we use needs to be deep enough into our desire to represent the feeling of the wish fulfilled, to get our consciousness to that level so we attract it to ourselves. We need to make it real. We need to make it powerful. We need to feel it. And when you do, it's on its way to you. Dan RadioStyle.